Okay, guys. So I would say that, again, when you are going to start any project, you start from within inside your drive. And so that's how I'm going to start today. Today is Google Forms. And so I'm going to scroll down to where I want to place something. So I come to Google Course 1, I click New, and then I click More, and then I click Google Forms. Again, it's going to place this Google form inside of this folder here, and you'll see it appear in a few minutes. So I'll show you that. But again, step 1, title what the form is. Make sure in the box, form 1. All right, so now I can give it a form description. So depending on what you're using this form for, maybe you're collecting some quantitative data, maybe you're collecting some qualitative data. Maybe you're trying to find out, if students are having a good time in your class and they appreciate how you're handling things, yada, yada, yada. Or maybe you're using this just to test them and find out their knowledge. So that's the two things that forms are mostly used for, is to collect data either from a quantitative perspective or a qualitative perspective. All right, so the first thing is I want to go over the settings that you can do. All right, so if I click on settings, it opens up my settings. I can collect email addresses. This makes it really easy for you as a teacher because if students are logged into their email account, their Google account, it will automatically collect that, and you'll know each student and how they responded. Makes it very, very good to have. Okay. The other thing that you can do is you can restrict it to your domain. So this would just say, whatever school system you're from, Brantley County, Atkinson County, Ware County, whatever it may be, it will tell you that right there, that it will only be to them. So if you want somebody outside of your area to be able to take that, you have to uncheck that. Then when you send it to someone that's outside of this domain, they will be able to actually see the form and take the form. Right. Another thing you can do is limit to one response. This only works if they have a Google account, which will be anybody in the school system. But if you're trying to send this to maybe parents and they don't have a Google account, they're going to run into issues. So you can only limit to one response when we're dealing with inside of that Google platform. And that means anybody that has a Google account. So it could be a personal Gmail even. If that. So you could send this to parents, not saying you can't, but they would have to have a Gmail account of some kind, personally or professionally. All right, edit after submit. This allows them to come back to their answers and edit after they have submitted. They get a link that's produced once they're done. They click on that link and they can go back and do some more. You can allow the response to see the charts. This comes in handy if you're doing this from like a ticket out the door perspective and you want students to see how they responded the next day. So I could see this being used in middle school and high school very quickly and easily. For a ticket out the door, you ask them 3 questions, and then the next day when they come in, you can show them the summary charts and the responses and walk them through why some people may have answered in a certain form or fashion. So very good tool there to have. So that they can all open that chart up and see it. But you don't have to do it because you can access the charts no matter what. And you could just bring them up on the smart board or whatever board you're using in your room. Okay. So again, those are the settings that you can have. I'm going to leave them all unchecked for now. I'm going to go to presentation. You can allow them to see a progress bar. The progress bar is only effective if you've created sections in the form. So if you don't have sections, the progress bar is a null point. And I'll show you how to create sections in a minute. You can shuffle the question order. So if this is a quiz and you're trying to collect some quantitative data, then you would want the shuffle question order to be turned on, possibly, depending on your situation. Show link to submit another response. Okay, so if you want them to give more than one response, I'm coming back to here. If I'm not limiting to one response, I'm allowing more than one, the link will appear at the bottom. No real reason to uncheck that, I don't feel. Okay, you can actually create a confirmation message of your own. You can do that. And once they're done, then they get this link to submit another response. And they also get this confirmation. Great job. You can type whatever you want to right there. All right, moving on to quizzes. You have to turn it on to make this a quiz. What's really, really great about Google Forms for quizzing is this right here, locked mode on Chromebooks. Most schools use Chromebooks and most schools quiz on Chromebooks. If I turn this on, respondents aren't allowed to open tabs or other applications while taking the quiz. Respondents must take the quiz using a managed Chromebook. You shouldn't run into issues there. The Chromebooks are managed by your school system. So once you turn that on and they're in quiz mode and they're taking the quiz, it locks them in the screen. The whole screen becomes the form. And they are not allowed to leave that screen until they're done submitting the form. Now, I will say this. There are ways around this. Kids have figured out ways around this. I'm not going to get into that. Basically, same thing as always with teaching. Facilitate and proximity. So make sure that you're still using the good old teaching methods of proximity and making sure students are where they're supposed to be on the Chromebook. All right, so release grade. Immediately after each submission or later after a manual review. What I like about this is if you have something that they have to do short answer on, it's a very good idea to have that turned on because it will not, they won't really know their grade until you've graded that manual response. Okay. What the respondent can see, the student. Do you want them to be able to see their missed questions, the correct answers, and the point value? That's up to you. You can uncheck all three. I would say in a high stakes testing situation, a unit test, uncheck all three. I would say maybe in a more formative or informative situation, maybe you have some of those checked depending on the situation. Okay, so those are all the settings. Again, I love this right here. Okay, once you're done doing the edits that you want to do in the settings, you would click Save. All right, so now all my settings are done. I'm ready to start creating my quiz. All right, so here's the first question. And I'll just type, what is 2 plus 2? All right, so you have some different options here. You can do multiple choice. So I could type in my answer choices by just clicking in here. And what's great is I can add all of these real quickly. Now I have all my answer choices. That was real easy to create that question. So Google Forms is guessing what I might want to put there. Sometimes it guesses good stuff, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes you're going to just have to type in your own answer. Now, you can also add images, and I'll get into that on the next question. Okay, so I've added a multiple choice. Right here, it says it adds a point. Now I have to do the answer key for this to be graded. So I click on answer key. I select the right answer here. I also choose how many points this is worth. I can also add answer feedback whether they are right or wrong. Okay, so incorrect answers, I give them answer feedback. I can also send a link with that. I can add a YouTube video very quickly to walk them through why that question is incorrect. Correct answers, I can simply say great job, but I can also have them go to a link or a video once they've answered it. So the feedback would be after I've released the grade. So in that settings part where we talked about releasing the grade immediately or after a manual review, that is going to be when you can do that. Okay, so that's when they get to see this feedback. All right, so I've added my feedback, I've added my point values, I click done. Okay. Also, it's automatically required. I can actually make it not required, but in most cases, this is a quiz, you want it required. All right, I can add a question. All right, I'm going to add another math-related question. What is 5 minus 3? Okay. I can change this one here to a short answer. Okay. I can even add an answer key. The correct answer is 2. I can add another correct answer, 2. Okay, those are the only 2 correct answers I'm willing to put right now. Okay, I can put mark all other answers incorrect. Well, what if a student spells this? Well, right now it would be right, but if I don't have that in there, it's going to automatically mark it wrong. Technically, it's wrong, but you as the teacher might want to have some flexibility there with that student. All right, so what it's doing right now is it would accept either of these as the correct answer. It wouldn't mark it incorrect automatically unless I check that. Now, if they type in anything other than these 2 answers, it's going to mark it wrong. Okay, I want that turned on. I want my students to spell this correctly. Perhaps you don't. Perhaps you want to go in and manually grade that. If you uncheck that, you would manually grade this portion. All right, click done. All right, let's get into sections. This is where the progress bar comes into play. So I click there. Once they're done with this section, it says after the first section, continue to the next section. This is going to be my science part of my test. I don't know. Okay, then I click the add button to add a question. And now we're just going to talk about the different options. All right, so we've already done multiple choice. You've already done short answers. You can also do check boxes. You can do drop downs. You can make it where they have to upload a file. You have to do a linear scale from like 1 to 5. Multiple choice grid. That's a pretty interesting one. And a checkbox grid. Okay, and so those are the options here. I'm going to stick to the bare basics for right now. Okay, when we get into the other courses 2 and 3, we'll probably get into some of these other things and things that you can do with that. All right, so I'm going to add a paragraph answer. Okay, explain difference in cohesion and adhesion. I don't know, some science question. All right, I can add an answer key even here. Okay, but you'll notice that there's nothing to do but answer feedback. Okay, so if I add answer feedback, I just enter pure feedback on what's going on. So after this, again, this is after the grade has been submitted and I have done my manual override. You have to manually grade a paragraph answer. Okay, so if I do a paragraph, it is going to be manually graded. Again, I can add point value. So this one's going to be a lot more points than the others because of the type of question it is and the complexity of the question itself. Okay, I click done. And now this will be how they answer it. All right. If I want to delete a question, I simply delete it. A nice feature is this duplicate. So maybe I want several paragraph questions. I can click duplicate, change the question. So I duplicate it, and now I can just change the answer here, or the question prompt. So what is the difference between covalent and ionic bonds? Okay, so again, these are paragraph questions. All right, so once I'm done, this is my quiz. This is what I'm asking. Again, we'll get into some of these other features. I just want to show you the basic how to create a form and how to create a quiz. All right, so the next thing I can do is I can preview this to see. I like this right here. It says total points. It lets me know what it is, how many points I have. So you'll see this right here. Locked mode is on. Only respondents using managed Chromebooks can open the quiz. Again, that's a good feature to have. So I'm going to turn that off so that I can look at it. So when you preview it, this is what students would see, of course, in locked mode. You'll see my progress bar is down here, and this is how I can answer. So I answer them, I answer that, next. Here's my answer, here's my answer, submit. Great job, done. All right, if I come back here, you'll see there's one response. I come here, and it gives me some insights, okay? There's been one respondent, and they have gotten 1 point, okay? And that's basically what it's saying right now, okay? What is 2 plus 2? Correct responses. I'll show you here, I answered incorrect, okay? But I did answer correct here, and then it showed me the answer. So as time goes on here, and I'll do another response just to show you. Well, actually I can't because I've locked it to 1. So let me turn that off. Save so that you can actually see what's going on there. All right, so now you'll see it has reorganized. The last time this question was first here, this one was first and this was second. All right, so I'm going to try to answer this. I'm going to type in the wrong answer here. I want to select the right answer this time. Move on. Answer 1, answer 2. I know I spelled that wrong, just trying to get through this. And now I can see submit another response. So depending on how you have those settings set up, you can either see a response or not see a response again. All right, I'm going to get rid of both of those and come back to my responses tab. So here is the average point value. Okay, the reason it has not been scored all the way is because of these questions down here. Right here, I have to score these as the teacher before I can actually give them that. And so I'm going to go over how you score it. So give me 1 second and I'll show you that, but I'm just wanting to show you here. Right now, there's been 2 students that have done this, and they both have gotten a point to a point and a half apiece. Okay. All right. So once I click release scores, it's going to show them the score. Well, I don't want them to see this score. Here, I'm getting a whole holistic point of view. There's one of 2 correct responses. One person got it right, one person got it wrong. Okay. There's been 2 responses here, 2 and 3. Okay. I didn't have that set up to automatically grade. I have it done to manual, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So if I go to individual, I'm going to come here. You'll notice it's 0 out of 2. I can actually change that if I want to. Okay. Right here, I can say 10 points, 5 points. I click save. I'm going to go back to summary just to show you how it changes. So one student has 16 points, another student has 2 points. Okay. So that's what it's doing right now. It's showing you the difference. Okay. Again, down here, just scrolling through and showing you that this is from the whole teacher perspective. If you want to see each student's response, you have to click on individual. I can then use this drop arrow and navigate through students' responses. So I can go to the next student's response, and I can say, you know what, I can give you that back, but I'm not going to just yet. And I can also provide point value here. So 10 and 10 on that student. Click save. I'm going to go back again to the summary. So now you'll see one student has 16, one student has 22. Okay. I can release their scores. Okay. So once I click release, I send emails and release. And now those students will know that they got 16 out of 23 and 22 out of 23. Now, the downside is it's not giving them a percentage. They have to know, they'd have to calculate that, or you'd have to tell them. It's just telling them the number of points they received out of the total. Okay. Now in Google Classroom, there's some things there, but I'll wait until the Google Classroom module to talk about that. Actually, I think Miss Martin will be talking about that one. So that is the basics of forms. There are a whole lot of other things that you can do, such as I can add videos, I can add images. Even inside the question itself, I can click on image and I can upload images from here through my camera, through the URL, through photos I have, all that. And I can actually make images part of my responses as well. Okay, very easy to do. So I can show you that real quick. So I'm going to take a moment and show you how to do that. So if I do by URL, that's real easy to do. I can actually find the image I want, and I'll show you just quickly how to do this, because this is what a lot of you probably would end up doing. But let's say I do a tree picture. So here's a nice picture of a tree. If I right click on it, I can copy the link address, or if I 2-finger click. So either way, I can come back to my form, paste it in there. Well, that one didn't work. I think I know why. Give me 1 second. I know what I did wrong. All right, going back. You actually have to, I forgot, you have to click on the actual image itself, open the image up into the large view, and once you do that, you can copy it from here. So 2-finger click, copy link address, make sure, or I'm sorry, copy image address, that's where I messed up, copy image address, paste the image address there, then you can insert the image. Okay, and it inserts that image as a as an actual response, okay, or as an actual part of the question. I can also add images to the responses by clicking here. Again, click on by URL. I paste the URL, insert image, and so it also adds images to that. And I can actually still add text. So text and image inside. If I don't like the image, I just click X. Okay. So I could see you using images. So I wanted to show you that real quickly at the end here. You can upload videos as well. There's a whole lot there, but I don't want to get caught up in the weeds. Again, this is the basics. So what we talked about today is how to create a form, how to make it a quiz, and how to actually get in there and start grading that quiz so that students can see. Okay. Again, if you have questions, email your instructor and they will be happy to answer any questions regarding the module task. Thank you very much.